I told you all I had a surprise for you, and I do. And I'm going to tell you why. When I think about all these restaurants out here that serve people with health issues, most generally, and we have run into that, especially if you're a diabetic, they will not change even a small smidgen of their menu to accommodate you. It's almost as if the world treats us like we don't count. Well, you know what? I'm going to show you how much you do count. We deserve just as much as everybody else. And it touches my heart when I think about it. So I am going to, now I'm not sure if you're going to like this or not, but I am going to make you a nice gourmet pumpkin Christmassy soup. And I'm going to do this with you. So I'm going to start out of the two that you saw in my previous video. What that was a small to medium-sized pumpkin. You do not want a large one. You don't want it stringy. You just want a nice, firm pumpkin. You can go with the little sweet pumpkins. I wouldn't do it because those little pumpkins can have too much sugar. These are not as bad. They do have carbs. They do have sugar. But for this soup, if I were to do the entire recipe, which I'm only halving this, it's about 16 to 17 carbs. You're breaking this down. That serves 6. So, and there's about 4 grams of sugar in it, and that is just from the pumpkin. So this generally, they even say in my research that I've studied, pumpkin is not bad for a diabetic. So here we go. I took one of the pumpkins and I took all the pulp out of it. So what I'm going to do with this now is take it to the blender and we're going to puree this and we're going to set it aside for right now. So I shall be back. Actually, I'm going to hold off on that pureeing for a moment because I'm going to go ahead and saute our onions first. So we're going to add just a little bit of olive oil, or you can use avocado, whatever your choice is. I'm going to use olive oil. About 3/4 of a tablespoon or a tablespoon. It doesn't really matter. That olive oil is not going to hurt you, so you just need just a little bit. We're going to turn this on and we're going to saute onions with this. And we're going to cook this until they're translucent. Once I get this cooked down enough, and I will go ahead and refresh your memory on what I did with the pumpkin first. I took the pumpkin, cut it sideways, removed all the stringy flesh in it and all the seeds, saved the seeds for later. They make a great snack for us all. So I saved those seeds and then I scored, I just put scoring marks lengthwise across the pumpkin all the way down the circumference of the circle. I added, for me, now it depends on you. You may only want to take 1 whole bulb of garlic. I chose 2. I happen to really like garlic. So you take the amount of garlic that you like, cut it in half. I took one of the halves all the way through the pumpkin and kind of dressed it with that garlicky flavoring to it. Put it inside the pumpkin. Put about half a handful or a handful of rosemary fresh. Drizzled it good with olive oil. Baked it at 350 degrees for about an hour until I could put a knife in it, really soft, really tender, and the pulp came out nice. So right now we're going to saute our garlic and or onion, excuse me, and I'm going to use some of that roasted garlic that came from the pumpkin, and I'm going to add this in here as well. So let me get a spoon and I'll be right back. Okay, so the reason I decided to wait on the pulping of the pumpkin, because honestly I don't want no chunks in this. It's to be a smooth, almost like a bisque sauce. The only chunks I probably will have in mine, this is totally up to you, and is in the center of my soup. I'm going to have, if I had wild mushrooms, it would have been so much better, but the only thing I can get is baby bellas, so I'll be sauteing them in olive oil, taking strips of parmesan putting that in the center of my dish, and then taking my soup around that mushroom pile. And that's what we're going to have. I don't want anybody. It just really irks me to be treated differently. I've seen it with my husband so many times, and I just want to scream. So I'm going to be the one to show them who says we can't. Sorry, I'm over my rant. Anyway, so we're going to saute these up until they're translucent in color. You just want to do this gently. And about halfway through, I'm going to add my roasted garlic to get that flavor within here as well. So at this point, that's what I'm going to start doing, because my onions are starting to get there. This only takes about 5 to 6 minutes to do. So I'm going to go ahead and add, they say to add about 3 or 4 cloves of that roasted. Sorry y'all, I told you I like garlic, so I'm going to add about 4 to 5 in mine. And I still have this beautiful garlic. My husband will probably munch on it when he gets home. He absolutely loves this stuff. So we're just going to saute this in here together and bring it to a softness. And then we're going to put this in with the pumpkin mix and puree it all together. At this point now too, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle a pinch of nutmeg in this as well. I can get my container open just to add that flavor a little bit to the onions. You can add, and I'll probably add some more when I start making the soup. So I'm just going to saute this with the nutmeg. And oh my gosh, y'all, this is smelling so good. It's Christmas. Oh my goodness. Now, mind you, I haven't tried this soup yet, so we're learning this together. And at the end of this, you bet your bippies I'm going to try this. Who'd I learn this from? Believe it or not, Gordon Ramsay. I love chef. I love gourmet food. And so I'm the one that's going to bring you the food that people say, you know, we can't have luxuries, and try to feed us some of the stuff you can't even. Oh, Lord, again, I'm not getting on my rant. Okay, so once these are softened, I will come back, and at that point, I will have my pumpkin pureed with this, and we will go from here. Okay, so now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of butter to this, and then we are going to pour in our pureed pumpkin, onion, and garlic mix now. Make sure the bottom of my pan is good and coated. Sorry, y'all, I am holding this one-handed so that you can see. Now we're going to go ahead and add our puree. Let's turn this down just a little. Look how beautiful that is. All right, let me go ahead and get this scraped out, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so now we got this. I told you I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle another pinch of nutmeg in this. Mix this all together. And from here, I am going to add 400 milliliters of ham stock. You can use chicken stock if you want. I'm just going to go ahead and use ham stock. I added just basically it's granulated ham base that I got from the Amish store in some water. And I also added about half a teaspoon of cinnamon to add some more of that Christmassy flavor to our soup. So I'm going to add that to this now. I'll clean this out and be right back. Okay, so now that we got that in there, I'm going to go ahead and stir this up really good and blend this really well. And we're going to bring this up to a boil and boil it for 10 to 12 minutes. But before we're not exactly finished yet, because I've got about 15 grams of parmesan we're going to add to this as well. Oh my gosh, if you guys could smell this. Like I said, I don't know how many would actually like pumpkin, but you know, honestly, when we add more vegetables and fruits to our diets, you don't know how much we really miss in flavors. You know, we've been living in a fast-paced life thinking, well, we're not really supposed to have this or that sick or whatever, but I am learning to really enjoy food. And I don't know if it's just the passion that runs through my blood because I am a self-taught chef, but I actually find ways to enjoy food. That's why it burns me when we go to try to look for somewhere to go out to eat, and there's just nobody's out here. It's all fast food. The restaurants are greasy, fatty, full of flour, full of carbs, full of sugar, and we just can't eat out. So I make out gourmet style for my husband on my own. I'll just buy my ingredients and say, the heck with it. They don't need my money. I mean, we even asked one restaurant if we could take and, all right, here's an instance. If we could had a sandwich of some sort, you know, without the bread, and the answer was no. You can't even buy a hamburger without a bun. So, you know, I'm over it. So like I said earlier, and I'll say it again, I'm going to be the one to prove to them, yes, we can. It's just all in how you know your food, how to use it, and what you can do with it. So, and that's why I decided to make this for you. This amazing pumpkin Christmas soup. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and let this come to a boil and bring it down after we get it to a boil and simmer it for 10 to 12 minutes. So I will be back after this has been boiled and simmered. Okay, we are back. Now the last step to this is adding 50 milliliters of heavy whipping cream. Again, I don't waste, so I'm going to get all that deliciousness out of this bowl. Be right back. Okay, now all we do now is just blend this all in here together. Y'all, this has got a very velvety look. The smell coming from this is so amazing. It reminds me of Christmas in a sense of it, or fall. Just a beautiful soup altogether. And here in a minute, we're going to test this, and I'm going to flip you around. And I will try to describe this soup as much as I possibly can to you. So, let's test this. I'm actually eager to test it because it smells so amazing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this on low. So, give me one moment to flip you around. Alright guys, so here it is. This is really hot. Wow, y'all, this is, oh my gosh. Don't anyone ever tell me that a diabetic can't have gourmet food, because I'm going to prove them a liar. This is amazing, y'all. It's creamy. It's got spice, that Christmassy fall spice. You can literally taste the garlic, the rosemary. This blending is absolutely amazing, and I can literally, to me, I could taste, in the sense of my own mind, a wild mushroom in the middle of the bowl, draped over with sheets of parmesan and this soup around it. Try this. You really got to try it. Until then, much, much love for Parton's Heritage Homestead, and I hope that you understand how much I really love you. When nobody else will accept you, I will embrace you. When everybody else treats you different, I won't. I am going to do my best to get more videos to show you that you can have delicacy just like everybody else. Until then, next time, much love. Mwah. Parton's Heritage Homestead.